old, you come round here. So the old debate with mobility and stability, right? If you're too narrow, you've no stability. Okay, you can move a lot, but if you're too wide, you often feel very stable, but you still have to move. Now, my thoughts is if my knees were a bit sore, I'll exaggerate this. My knees were a bit sore from there. I'm finding it hard to kind of move. What we're looking for is with the stance width, we want to be wide enough to give us a nice platform with the driver. But when we get to here, we want to be able to sort of turn through and release the club properly. So if you go too wide, sometimes I wonder if you maybe get to here and feel like you can't coordinate with your legs. So I don't want you going crazy wide, okay? How about you swing with that club again?
This?
Yeah, I'll swing with that club. That's it, don't go crazy with it, you're not going to hit the ground with this, remember?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we're going to focus on the swish,
Yeah.
okay? So, have a swing and just create a swish at the bottom. Feel that swish? That's basically the release, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that again, create the swish at the bottom. Now, in many ways, if you think about it, that's quite different to what we talked about with the irons, because with the irons, we weren't overly concerned with you releasing much because you had that big left shot going. So what I think we've got to make sure we still have is a good release at the bottom of the driver. Okay, so and that release obviously is helping speed, but it's also helping a lot of the squaring of the face up at the last minute as well. We'll do that one last time. And just tell me the feeling you get when you get that nice release at the bottom. What feeling do you get when you get that release? What does it feel like?
Wrists are active.
Quite relaxed, You know, you're not trying to hold it or anything.
No.
You're certainly not going for a massive forward shafting, are you?
No.
You're just kind of so. When you swing the driver, if you have a little practice swing with the driver, okay, it is there. Now I just want you to have a little swish with the driver, and don't go, as I say, don't go too wide, and just make sure you get make sure you get that nice release at the bottom. Clip the top of the tee when you go through. You still hit the top of the tee, but just make sure, but just make sure that, as I say, that release is still there when you hit the ball. Got the idea? Okay. Right, let's give it a go. So, nice and relaxed. We're focused on a nice, good swish through the ball, nice release through to a good finish, okay? Not too wide at the start. That was beautiful, wasn't it? No?
I think it was alright.
Right. It's a great shot to me. I might as well pick it up. So it's slow. But if you look at that there, look at the. Yeah, that was a great shot. That's perfect. You got your nice draw. If you look at the strike on the face, good. Wee bit, slightly off the toe, but not disastrous. If we compare it maybe with that shot there. Okay. So that feeling of what's interesting is that feeling of the release just gives you that feeling of kind of squaring that face up a little bit better. You see where I'm coming from? Because if you think about it logically, if you set yourself up again, you set up to that tee again. So let's imagine we come into the ball with the kind of iron thought process. Take your stance. We're just going to rethink about this, okay? Swing the club back towards me. So we're coming in with the iron. It's about keeping the hands passive and using the body. What's the big danger? You're late with the delivery of the club face. If you come in late with it, where's that ball going? Right, exactly. Which I think is the big danger when we're getting at the start, you see? So that's why I'm saying for you, it might have to be a little bit of a two-swing game. You know, the driver, we worked really, really hard to get you hitting that driver well. And we might find that, when you stand on the tee, you've got a certain feel with the driver, but it might be a different feel with the irons. That's kind of where I'm going with that, because we need to try and keep that draw in your game. Okay, we don't want to lose that, and I think the danger is when you come in with that iron feeling. That's the dangerous shot there. Is that you're going to potentially hang it out a little bit to the right there. You see where we're coming from?
Because I don't want to revert back to just safe cutty hold off fades. I want to keep releasing. I want to continue that sort of straight to even a slight draw would be good. But I've lost the draw completely.
Exactly. So you had it there. So have a wee practice swing again. Make sure you've got a wee bit of a swish at the bottom, so you can focus on that nice little swish at the bottom of the swing. Okay. Make sure you hear that release at the bottom. As I said, I don't want you crazy wide at the start. Just a good stable stance, but not feeling like you're kind of going, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that. Just so. Good swish through the ball again. Okay, on you go. Very good, very good.
That's good.
Very subtle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very subtle.
Just felt solid.
What's interesting as well, it's a small thing, but come and have a wee look at this. It's a small thing, but your club head speed sneaked up a wee bit there as well. You know, I mean, I know you're maybe a wee bit stiff at the beginning, but it's kind of 98 at the beginning.
Yeah.
Picked up, obviously you get a wee bit more speed with the hands through the ball. It's definitely going to help you. If we look at you face on here, so 2 swings. So if we look at the picture on the right, the left, sorry, I would say that to me looks a little bit overly wide. You see that there? I like the one on the right hand side better. I think that looks wide enough for a driver. You look, you know,
you're only talking like a few inches.
Can make a big difference to the way you move through the ball, though. You know, getting everything moving through the ball and coordinating into the golf ball. If we're too wide,
can you show me the straight line release there on the right, like the rest, the full release
on there?
On the right, yeah. Just pause it at the.
When you come back to the ball.
And keep going. There. Yeah. That looks good, right?
Looks excellent, yeah. And we know how we were talking about kind of forward shaft lean, okay? You actually don't want a lot of forward shaft lean with a driver. You almost want to kind of get the feeling that you're almost bringing the club back to where it was at the start. You see that there? The forward shaft lean that gives you a nice compressed iron shot can often hurt you with a driver. And that's what I'm saying, you know, something you're fighting a wee bit for with your irons, a wee bit of forward shaft lean and a little bit of kind of club face stability with a driver, it might not be a great thought for you, that one. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Go on, let's have a few more.
Oh, that looked nice on the backswing there as well, more relaxed.
Yeah.
I think the relaxation is important as well for me. I've got a tendency to maybe get a bit like tightening myself up subconsciously.
Yeah. Same again. Let me swish that club on the way through for me. Create a swish at the bottom. Play. 3 good drives. And to be fair, Craig, this is a tough day to hit driver. If you look at those conditions out there, you know, there's a cold left to right wind. That's usually, I don't know about you, that's usually the hardest wind.
Yeah.
The left to right is the one where you kind of almost want to come across it.
Yeah.
Once again, I would say those 3 drives, boom, 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 are excellent drives. And I'm looking at your club path, very good. You know, not you bit minus, but not bad. Okay. Your tack angle, nice and positive, and where was it? Let's see, with the strike on the face, pretty solid hitting in the club face there as well. You see that? Yeah. But it's the interesting thing is, I always think one of the interesting things about golf is you can ruin your golf swing, right? Or not ruin it. You can struggle with golf just simply by thinking the wrong thoughts. You don't even have to do crazy stuff with your golf swing. Okay, you don't even have to go off on some sort of crazy tangent with some mad technique that you're working on. You just need to think the wrong thoughts, and it's sometimes being over the ball and putting it's almost like the little combination of thoughts that unlocks the key for you.
Yeah.
So that thought with the irons that we worked hard on, that feeling of hitting the impact by getting the body working, a very body quiet hands, body release, kind of maybe hold it off a wee bit.
And that goes all the way up to 3 wood.
Well, I think a lot depend.
Or is there a hybrid between your? Is
There
sort of
might
hybrids
come
or-
a time where there's a kind of feed over period. You know,
Yeah.
you maybe got your sort of short irons going really well, and
Uh-huh.
you've got the driver going really well, and then depending on what the ball's doing,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the ball might be the key for you.
Yeah.
If you're wrapping the ball left, turning it over left too much, closing the face down too much, I think the feeling of a slightly delayed release is often a good
Yeah.
thought.
Whereas if I'm firing it
Exactly.
out
So
right,
the ball can often be your
Yeah,
your
guide,
gauge,
yeah,
you know, as
yeah.
to what the thought will be. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And certainly, if we've got that big hangout right shot, that one you showed me right at the beginning, you see that one there?
Yeah.
That one there. But first thing I'm thinking, the last thing I'm wanting this guy to do is come in, delay the release of the club, and leave the face open. Because the more you leave the face open, the further right that's going to go.
Yeah, of course.
That feeling of the swish, I think what's happening is when you get into here, you're almost in many ways releasing the head of the club in and letting
Yeah.
the head of the club max itself
Yeah,
up. That
and
makes sense?
I'm thinking about keeping my head stable, wide takeaway, and just keeping my head behind the ball and
Yeah.
releasing.
And almost, if you set yourself up again, there's various ways of thinking about it, but you know, if you look at the angle of the club shaft there,
Uh-huh.
see, you're almost bringing the club back to that position. So
Yeah.
when you're coming in from there,
Yeah.
you're almost wanting the club to match back into its position there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't want that feeling of being
No,
in front of
no.
it or delayed
No,
in
no.
the way through. See where I'm
No.
coming from?
Yeah. So it's like a release.
And just but once again, little practice swing. The swish is a nice one because the swish kind of gets you releasing it, but in a nice relaxed way without overthinking it. That's why I love that little training aid with the ball on. It's a great wee tool that for speed. Like you really. Good, on you go. Nice and relaxed. Let that club get that feeling. You're just coming in from the inside and squaring it up at the bottom of the swing. Very good, very good.
Nice.
It's also as well, you know, if you look at the best players, I mean, maybe nowadays they're a bit more consistent, but sometimes it's very difficult to be a really good driver and a really good iron player.
Yeah.
You'll often get guys who are good iron players, but maybe know the best with the driver, and other guys who nail the driver, but maybe are not quite so good with the irons, because it is that slightly, you could argue, you know, the iron swing, you know,
Yeah.
it's that, you know, maybe you could argue the iron swing performs better when you're a bit more centred on it and kind of hitting down on it
Yeah.
and compressing it. The driver, the best drivers in the game have usually been guys who have been behind it,
Yeah.
nice and wide,
Yeah.
coming in and
Yeah.
hitting on the up maybe a wee bit, you know.
Yeah.
So
So it's two
Well,
two things
I
for
think
me
there's
then.
no harm in, and you're not really changing your swing as such, you're just maybe putting a different swing
Swing
thought
thought.
in that allows you to get different impact characteristics. That makes sense?
So that club pass still at minus.
Slightly, yeah, slightly. But it's acceptable there. It's not getting miles away from you there, okay?
Yeah.
If we look at come on, we look at this. If we look at your swing there, okay, I like the way you've got that stance just a wee bit closed there, which is good. Wait a minute. If we went back to the old swing when you first came in to see me, do you remember that one? So, I mean, it was coming in from this side there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, you can see it's pretty good there. It's pretty good. Everything's looking good. It's definitely doable. And as we said, but it doesn't have to be a draw. And as long as we're coming in fairly neutral and, you know, hitting it fairly solid, the shot that's coming off doesn't have to be a draw. It can be, you know, a wind is knocking it a little bit. You can see that here. That's
Yeah, the
that's
wind,
Without
yeah.
the wind, that's what the wind did. So it is taking it a wee bit kind of left to the
Yeah.
Okay. Does it feel a wee bit different with a slightly narrower stance?
Yeah, it's
Go and hit another shot for me, just as a wee experiment here. And what I want you to do is I want you to make your stance a few inches wider.
Wide,
Just
yeah.
tell me if you feel like you're maybe not able to move through it quite as much. Okay, we're just a wee experiment here.
Still taking a wee step out left.
Yeah, that's good. Just go a bit almost too wide. Yeah, just I wonder what this makes you feel like, okay?
Yeah.
Not quite as balanced, eh?
No.
Not quite as balanced.
Yeah, that's gone left. And it's,
So one of my favourite drills. I mean, releases are interesting when you come around here. One of my favourite drills when I'm trying to get people to sort of get into their heads how to release a golf club, because a lot of people think of releases as just this. It's just a flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
But release is a whole body movement.
Yeah.
And often what I'll do is I'll say, right, imagine there's a tennis ball in front of you,
Yeah.
okay? And you're playing, you know, there it is, it's stationary, it's a bit like golf. You're
Yeah.
going to whack that tennis ball. You kind of use your
Yeah.
whole body, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd come in, you'd square the racket off,
yeah.
but you'd
Yeah.
be moving your weight from
Yeah.
the lower body as well. Now, if you get too wide, you might find that when you're coming through, you can't get
Yeah.
off that right side, so it
Yeah.
affects your balance,
Yeah.
you see. So that's why with you, when I see you here, I'm thinking, I don't like that, because I think he's going to struggle to get through with
Yeah.
his lower body.
And then I could get stuck.
Get stuck back. When you don't coordinate your lower body, things go a bit haywire. If we get you wide enough to be stable, but not so crazy, when you get to the top of that swing, you'll be able to get that sort of nice coordination through the ball, where everything's sort of turning nicely through the ball and you're squaring the face up. That's what we're looking for. When you're here, there's the ball, club's coming in, we're looking to get that club back to square.
Yeah.
We can get that club back to square here and get that turning
it's
through
still
the ball.
releasing and turning, yeah.
Coordination's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So there maybe the stance width, you know,
Yeah.
might be quite
Quite
a big one for you. You know, it seems like a small thing, but it might actually have quite a big effect on your timing. And
I know you don't like me to throw this stuff out, but this is set at 9 degrees. Do you like the ball flight and the apex? Is that?
looks pretty good. Yeah. What height are we getting on it? Let's have a wee look. Yeah, I think in this country sometimes you don't want it banging up miles high, because I think a lot of the time when we are playing in a bit of wind, you know, it's a slightly more.
Yeah, because I played about like 8, 10, 9.
Well, I think it looks good. I think it looks good.
Good. Okay.
I think it looks good. Let's try again. So we swish at the bottom, okay? Relax, release the club. Don't overthink it. Let's keep it as natural as possible. Yeah, I'm looking back at my notes. Some of the notes I was making of the original.
Originally, but you still got that.
Minus 13 path at the big end. Do you remember that?
I'll never, it's unlucky 13, I'll never forget that.
I actually didn't even remember. I didn't actually realise you were double figures, but you were in the old days.
How can I even get it? I'll try and recreate that.
You don't want to recreate that. It's like.
That's only 9.
Yeah, I think we'll put that one to bed and we'll go back.
Delete that from the records. That's not.
Delete that one. Yeah, exactly. That's just a muck about.
That was me trying to go mental left, and it was
Yeah.
under 10. That's crazy. Oh, that's good. Put that swing back in.
Yeah, just leave it toey that one. You toe hook that one there. You see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay relaxed. That's it. Don't get mentally relaxed as well. Only you complicating it mentally in your own head. Okay. Don't mind that one. Little bullet draw. Beautiful. What do you feel there?
Yeah, just so the swing feels as not so wide. Just a nice step, but nothing too crazy. Stay behind the ball, release it. Spin through the ball.
Yeah,
Wide takeaway, but keep stable and just release the club.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh. That's the one. That's the one. There you go. You see, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. These numbers there. You see, even though your path's minus 2.8 there, you know, it's hanging around. If you look at your club path, it varies a wee bit. Further enough, the worst one you hit was when you actually went 0.6 on it on the way through. Yeah, that was the one where you actually snouted it right off the toe.
What was the path on that last one?
Minus 2.4, I think. Yeah, let's have a look at that last one actually. Let's have a look at that swing on the last one. This was the last one. That's as good a shot as you can hit actually right there, I would say. If you could bottle that for the next year, you'd be absolutely loving it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Actually, this is really interesting. How about let's see if I can just show you this. This is quite interesting here. So there's that wee one that sniped left on us. Okay, so that one you I think you hit this off the toe. Or did you? No, it was this. Was it that one there?
It was the second to last one, 15, yeah.
Was it that one? Was that one?
Yeah.
Was that the one you hit off the toe?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It's that one.
Oh, it's that one.
Lost a wee bit of speed on that one. Yeah. So what's interesting on that one, if we compare that one and this one here, this is the one you absolutely nailed, right? So the one on the right you nailed.
Uh-huh.
The one on the left you hit hooky and so take them off. And now what I'm wanting you to look at is the way you went through the ball here. So you nailed this one here, so you've come in, good contact, look how the club's kind of releasing back under the line.
Yeah.
If you look at this one here, you came in, you hit it, there's the club opening up off the toe.
Yeah.
And you see how the club's almost outside the line
Yeah.
on the way through. You see how it's up there?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking you did there was you almost got onto your toes and you kind of chased the club too far out, away from yourself on the way through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You lost that nice feeling of the release.
Release. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense?
Yep.
So if you think about it, watch this, Craig. So the release of the club, you're not trying to come into the ball from there and sort of chase the club way out that way. That actually made you snipe it left. You're coming in from there, letting it square up at the bottom, and then letting it continue on its kind of path through the ball. Okay.
Yep.
It's interesting. You could see quite a difference in the release of the club there on those two shots. And even though on that one, if you look at that one there, even though you actually could argue you got a slightly more inside path on that,
Yeah.
you actually didn't go through the ball nearly as consistently,
No.
and the shot was nowhere near as good. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the shot shape then? Is it a little
I think it's going to be fairly neutral for you.
fairly neutral?
I'm not really overly worried if it's drawing or fading. I think it's going to be a fairly neutral ball flight off your driver.
So the feels. Is
Huh?
like so when you're doing the video that you're gonna send to me, the little summary, the feels would be not too wide. Stay behind the ball, wide takeaway, and then try and just get a nice swoosh and release and not chase it out there.
Definitely not holding it off.
So I'm not trying to sling a draw out there.
No.
I'm just trying to
Swish it through.
release.
And you know what? When you're in the tournament, when you have your wee practice swing, sometimes just listen for the swish.
Yeah.
You know, listen for that noise at the bottom. Just feel that there. Just make sure there's a bit of that, release at the bottom of the swing there, just to get you squaring it up.
Yeah. My hand's not as on top as Iron's well, it's a little bit more at the side.
Just keep it fairly. Don't change the grip too much. Take it. But if you think about it, that batch of swing thoughts that we've given you there, they wouldn't work the other night when you were slinging it left with the irons, would they? So there's my answer.
No.
You see, so it's horses for courses, you know. So it works brilliantly with the driver because it allows you to, you know, keeps you away from that right hand side of the golf course with the driver, but it wouldn't work with definitely wouldn't work with the iron shots, that feeling. What did you feel there?
maybe not quite as much release.
Yeah, just look like the face with that. That's it there, Craig, you see. So if you look at that there, so it's interesting just sometimes comparing the numbers. So that one there, if you look at the club path there, -2.8, not disastrous, but if you look at the face, it says that the face hung open a wee bit. Let's see the stripe, maybe a wee bit toey, but it's telling us that basically the face was hung open a little bit to the path there. You see that there. We go back to that one you absolutely nailed. Path was very similar, but of course the face is squared up a bit better. You see the difference?
Yeah.
So that face angle at the bottom often can be dictating where that ball's going.
So if I've got a -2, I kind of want a face angle of -1. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot can depend on where you're hitting it on the club face, but certainly you don't want big deviation between the path
No,
and the face.
it's half of it, isn't
If you've
it?
got a path that's coming in very fractionally minus, you certainly don't want the face hanging big time open to that,
Open,
because that's
no.
when you'll get that big block cut to the
Yeah.
right. Okay?
Right. So if it's a club path 2, you want a -2, you want a -1,
Yeah,
roughly.
if you can match it up fairly close, that would be good. And it's the same again, nice and relaxed. Square it up at the bottom.
That felt released.
That was good. Yeah, very good. Very good. As I say, today, that's
There you go, there's the numbers. That's
very good, isn't it? Tough day to hit golf balls at, actually.
So centre strike -2.8 to -1.2. So we are looking at a left club path now for both my iron and driver slightly.
Yeah, I think with you, I think if we state you're not a guy you've never been a guy who's been particularly comfortable swinging a lot from the inside, and I think we could end up getting. My thought process here with this one is, we could end up, you know, if we obsess with that, if we obsess with getting you kind of in here, and I think we could do it, but is it going to make you a more consistent driver of the ball? I'm not really convinced.
You don't think it's my natural tendency? My natural tendency is what kind of is coming out here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to make sure we don't get too cutty.
Too cutting, yeah.
But I think we don't push too hard to get you to sling draw. I think if we can come in from a fairly nice neutral path, okay, if it's a wee bit minusy, we can live with that. If we can square the face at the bottom, if you bang it out there, if it goes out there and it tails a little bit to the right, as long as it's a solid shot. I mean, at the end of the day, what you looking to do with the driver, just like get the ball in play.
Yeah.
Get it in play, get it on the fairway or in the edge of the semi-rough. You know, we're just looking to get rid of those really destructive shots.
Yeah, I was slinging hooks the other day, like cool hooks, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's where we're going to have to go with this thing. We're going to have to take a slightly different attitude to the irons and a slightly different attitude to the driver.
Yeah.
You know, and what you might be just doing, you know, before you go into the shot, you might just have to preset it a wee bit with your practice swing or your feel. You know.
So for practice swing.
Definitely, I like the idea. Just relax and just release the club, swish it through. That's it. If you get that visualization of maybe a wee bit more of a draw shot with the driver, it's not a bad thing. I'm carrying for you, I'm taking that. You know, it's not the greatest, but bit toe hooky, but it's in play. Never complain about a shot that hits the fairway.
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because remember, you've got plenty more, if you want to be a golfer, you've got plenty more things in golf you can work on. Okay? So I think at the end of the day, it's about, you know,
Centre strike.
these numbers are great. You know, I mean, basically, bottom of the line, look at that, centre strike, 2.5 on the up, path virtually neutral, face virtually neutral. What do we get? Virtually a straight shot. That's good enough. That's good enough. Okay.